I'm working on a city exploration game where every building can be entered, and a couple of weeks ago I conducted its first public playtest, which is now over by the way, so if you still want to try it out, you'll have to wait for the demo. Everyone always says that a developer should do public playtests as early as possible, and I totally agree with that sentiment. Yet it somehow took me 3 years of development to get to this point. Saying that I was nervous would be an understatement. But I am really glad that I resisted the temptation to work on this slice of the game longer and to make it perfect before showing it to the public. Seeing your work in the hands of real players is eye-opening in many ways, and I am extremely grateful to all the players who took part in the playtest. Now it's time to share the details and the lessons learned with you guys. Few developers do this publicly, but why not? Whether you're someone interested in my project or a developer considering your own playtest, stick around and I'm sure you'll find this information valuable. But first, a bit of context. I am preparing a demo for my game and the playtest was for this demo. The problem is, my demo is basically a showcase of the procedural environment that I've built for the game and has almost no gameplay. The full game will have NPCs and quests and factions that you can progress with, but I'm adding those gameplay elements layer by layer, so it'll be a while before they come together into a full gameplay. So my biggest fear was that there won't be enough players willing to join, or that the ones who do join will get bored quickly. But I was relieved to find out that this was not the case. I initially planned to run the playtest for a week or two, concerned that I'd have to actively look for players. But in reality I had to cut it short in just 3 days because over 300 people had signed up, which was more than enough. There was a total of 311 signups, out of which 205 actually played the game, which is a reasonable ratio considering not everybody has the time. The median playtime came out at 43 minutes, with an average of almost an hour and a half, which was really surprising to me because, like I said, there is literally nothing to do in my game at this point. Some players even reported exploring the procedural city for over 5 hours. And I had one user write up a detailed story of their playthrough, which was truly heartwarming to read as a developer. But the best part was the new Discord that I opened for the playtest. The wonderful people who joined and all the feedback they gave me. Some of them tried Vuntra City in VR and some in flat screen mode. There were a few players on Linux, even though I don't have a native Linux build. So now I have a better idea how the game runs on a wider range of hardware. And of course there were lots and lots of bugs. I tried to patch up some of them during the playtest, just so the players don't keep reporting the same issues over and over again, especially the ones I could fix quickly. Now, I knew the game had lots of issues going into the playtest, but seeing which issues the players found the most annoying and which ones were tolerable was definitely eye-opening. The biggest issues that came up, and that I'm focusing on for the demo, were VR performance, which was not as good as I had hoped, even on somewhat powerful hardware. Gamepad compatibility, which I didn't test thoroughly because I'm really bad with the gamepad. Items spawning on top of each other or blocking the way, which is a pretty standard issue for procedural game environments, but needs to be fixed regardless. And vehicle pathfinding. But like I mentioned in another video, the vehicles probably won't be perfect in the demo either, because even though I am making adjustments to improve them, they are a long-term work in progress. There are more, of course, and plenty of great suggestions for improvement. So right now I am working hard on finalizing the demo and looking forward to hearing more feedback once it's released. By the way, the Discord that I've set up for the playtest is still open and it's in the description. Feel free to join, but expect it to be somewhat quiet until the demo is released and there's a new build to discuss. Stay creative!